Alright, we're live. I hope we're live. Let's see. No, I don't want that. Where's OBS at? Test, test, test. There it is. Alright. Let's try this again. Continue on, Matt Pat. Let me hear your game theories. Did I get a notification? Did anyone comment? Nope. Alright.
Talking about FNAF.
Yeah, Rex. Apparently I can't download right now. My internet is funky. So, I'll do it off stream. Hopefully the new box gets here like Monday.
Like I always do. It's been almost 2 weeks. I feel like I'm going through withdrawals.
Well, I am the Theory Lord, and I command you to stop.
You know, with a name like Theory Lord, it seems kind of off-brand to tell me to stop making an episode.
Silence! Talk about something else. Seriously, there are so many things that you can cover.
Like what? Elden Ring would be cool, but if your name isn't Vati Vidya, you're gonna get flamed.
That's true. Is it?
There's a new Kirby game.
You'd think.
Wait, do people actually flame you for covering Elden Ring? Are you fucking serious? What a bunch of kids. God damn. Stupid if it's true. Alright.
Think, right? But Kirby fans, they're surprisingly aggressive.
What about him over there in the corner? I would point him out to you, but I'm just a floating head, so let me just nod in his general direction. That guy. Over there. That one.
Courage the Cowardly Dog? Did he even have a game? Shouldn't that be over on Film Theater?
Talk about him now or face the consequences. Theory Lord has spoken.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game
All right.
Today we're talking about the absolute classic animated series, Courage the Cowardly Dog. This thing was pure nightmare fuel bottled up and IV directly into kids' eyeballs back in the late 90s.
Now, I want you to open your mouth and say, ah.
If you aren't familiar with it, the show is about an elderly couple.
Dude, this Courage the Cowardly Dog still holds up so good. It's still my favorite cartoon. I can't think of any other that I reminisce about, and I really hope it gets a revival.
Sweet Muriel and Grumpy Eustace, who live near the fictional town of Nowhere, Kansas with their easily frightened dog, Courage. Every episode, the three would end up encountering all sorts of horrors ranging.
I never got into Invader Zim. The art style kind of threw me off. It was just a weird-ass, gross show, in my opinion. I love Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. I got the director's cut book of that like many years ago, and I still need to read that again. Maybe I'll give Invader Zim another chance, but every time I caught into it, I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, I love Ren and Stimpy. I fucking love that show. I just don't know why Invader Zim just didn't click with me. It was probably the art style, to be honest. It's like, I don't know, it just wasn't my cup of tea. Maybe I'll give it a shot since I'm older now, but...
From spirits, aliens, monsters, even terrifying relatives.
Alone was I with tender courage, and all his fur, his furry footage, which I say did encourage me to be quite naughty.
I think this is probably one of the scariest episodes. I used to hate it when I was a kid. It was great the first time, but repeat episodes, I'm like, nothing happens. But as an adult, fuck, dude, that's terrifying. Imagine, instead of shaving, he just liked to fucking rape or murder. That dude is a creepy motherfucker right there. Just the way they present that story with him reminiscing about all the fucked up shit, I feel like this is like a parody of American Psycho, and I haven't even seen that movie yet.
Courage.
Honestly, if you've never had a chance to check this one out, I highly recommend it. There's a reason it holds the record for the highest rated premiere on Cartoon Network.
And that wishing tree, I remember crying at that episode. It was so good, and I was pissed off at Eustace. Spoiler alert, when he fucking, what was it, he rammed his truck into the tree and murdered it, and then it gave its life to save them.
And even though
Wait a minute. It did. It launched highly like that. Let me back up. Hold on. I want to back up. I want to read
There's
that.
a reason it holds the record.
Original series premiere gives Cartoon Network top spot with kids and teens. Courage the Cowardly Dog, best series premiere in network history. Are you fucking serious? Led by the stellar series premiere Courage the Cowardly Dog and Mike, Lou, and Og on Friday, November 12th, the average rating of Cartoon Network's Cartoon Fridays. I miss I don't know if you guys had this in Norway. Did you guys have Cartoon Network? Fucking Cartoon Fridays were my fucking jam, dude. I look forward to the end of the week at school. And when I was a younger kid, you know, the introduction with the mix of live action in a studio with the cartoon characters, I thought that shit was real. I'm like, dude, I would love to work with the cartoon companies. Oh my god. Dude, I love Cartoon Fridays. I was kind of hit or miss on when they went into the new format with the 2 live hosts, but that grew on me because I really liked it when they used to animate different characters from their flagship series, like Ed and Eddie, Time Patrol. They used to have those characters host the like 2-hour event every Friday, like with custom lines introducing characters. And then they used to have these little skits where, like, Samurai Jack was trying to wash his clothes in a clothing wash, and someone put pink in there, like one of the Powerpuff Girls, and he pulls out his fucking robe, and it's all pink, and he's like, what the fuck? Yeah, Cow and Chicken. Unfortunately, I was born in, like, 92. So by the time I was old enough to and found this was kids today won't understand this. Like, we didn't have internet, and I didn't know about Cartoon Network till I was like 7 or 8. And like, Pop came home one day from the bar, like, "Hey, we got a new channel." Because before that, I'd watch Fox Kids late in the evening, and like Power Rangers, maybe some type of Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh. Then it was just adult shows, and I got all fucking depressed. But the moment they came home with that schedule, like, hey, check out this cartoon-only channel. Fuck. And then I found Cow and Chicken, and unfortunately, I think that was towards the end of its life, because I didn't get to see it that often. And I Am Weasel, I love that. Now you got me thinking of Angry Beavers, because I'm pretty sure... Wait, isn't the voice actor for Angry Beavers also Invader Zim? I feel like that's how that is. You know, this is hold on. Who voiced Invader Zim? Wow, they have 3 different voice actors? What the fuck? Who voiced Angry Beaver? Oh, wait, Billy West? Damn, he does have a talented voice. Richard Steven. Yep, Richard Steven. I was right. Same voice actor. Dexter's Lab was alright, yeah. I loved watching that. I remember when they came out with the finale movie. I think it was the finale. Where him and Mandark were going at it, and then Dexter went like 20 years into the future and kept finding alternate realities of himself, and they all just got together like a superhero team and fought like all the Mandarks from different realities. That was a banger way to send off the season, dude. I mean, the series. And Ed and Eddie Big Picture Show, how you finally got to meet Eddie's brother, the one that they kept hyping up as a big bad wolf, and he ends up being a fucking psychopath. Dude. Teen Storms topped all ad-supported basic cable networks among kids 2 to 11. The premiere telecast of Courage the Cowardly Dog achieved the network's highest ratings ever for an original series premiere among households between 2 to 11, 6 to 11, and teens 12 to 17. In addition, the premiere's ratings showed huge increases over the previous year's time period among households, plus 60%, 70%, and 126%, and 300% for teenagers. Oh my god, why was it canceled? Like, why? Like, what was his name? John Dilworth is the creator. Why was Courage the Cowardly Dog Camp? It was such a good fucking show. Oh, wait a minute. Apparently, it was owing to John Dilworth's decision that the show was discontinued. The people speculated that had Dilworth wanted, he would have created new stories and episodes with the show, but he had other interesting animations to work on. Dude, John Dilworth, you fucked up a fucking gold mine. I don't know of any single other animated show he's worked on besides Courage the Cowardly Dog. It wasn't even canceled. The creator decided not to make any more. Where's the sources for this? Thereby leading to the downfall of the cartoon. It was also nominated for Oscars? I guess. It's like... I currently am obsessed with the Owl House on Disney+. And this is fucked up of Disney. We thought maybe it was getting canceled because of the lesbian and LGBTQ representation, because I thought that shit was cute. It's because it doesn't really meet the Disney brand, and most of its fans are adults and teenagers. I'm like, dude, fucking embrace that shit. Like, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. When that shit came out, I'm like, fuck that. I ain't watching that goddamn My Little Pony. But people kept talking about it. I finally watched it, and I fell in love with that show. And I'm so glad Hasbro embraced the bronies, because the bronies were the ones that basically bought all the fucking merchandise and made the show so goddamn popular. Like, I feel like Disney could go the same route. Oh yeah, I was gonna go with John Dilworth. Okay. That's what he looks like? Filmography, Courage. I remember this! This was an early Saturday morning thing where sometimes Cartoon Network, I forget what it was called, but if they had a whole bunch of pilot episodes for new shows that they were debating on creating, they would air all the pilot episodes on like a little Saturday morning block. I remember the very first pilot of The Chicken from Outer Space. I remember this now. It was animated so differently. And it was nominated for an Academy Award in 1996. I was 4 years old. Okay. Dilworth is president of Stretch Films, which he founded in 1991. He also worked on the original opening for Nicktoons and for shows such as Doug, Rugrats, and My Life as a Teenage Robot. All those shows are bangers. Oh, fuck. Disney PB&J Otter? No, that I remember that show, and they can go fuck off. The diaper-wearing bastards. He created 9 shorts for Sesame Street? Angry Cabaret? He was on MTV? Dirty Birdie? Dude, I'm going down this fucking rabbit hole. Oh! He fucking did the animation. Well, he was an animation consultant for Gumby. I forgot all about Gumby. I used to be obsessed with that shit. I'd beg Mom to let me rent the movie at the movie store whenever we would go to like Family Video. What the fuck is Drew Carey? That sounds familiar. 2017, latest animation, Goose in High Heels. It currently is not available online for viewing. Dude, we all get old. I'm like, I'm never gonna be that old guy. I'm gonna stay up to date on all the lingo. And goddamn it, when I started hearing about the words cringe and based, I'm like an old man. Like, what the fuck is that? So I had to Google like Urban Dictionary to try and figure this. And when they started dabbing, when that was popular, I'm like, fuck you kids and your stupid ass dabbing bullshit. Get out of here. And I'm like, oh my god, get off my lawn. See, now this is how you do a reaction video. I'm not just sitting here in silence watching a YouTube video. I'm going down a fucking rabbit hole. Uh, okay. Let's continue. I don't blame them, but to be honest, I think 90s had the best cartoons, and that's probably subjective through rose-colored glasses. I'm not saying they were perfect, but back then, like, adults didn't really pay attention to cartoons. They're like, oh, it was just kid shit, right? So they were able to take ballsy risks. I mean, look at the Ripping Friends, Ren and Stimpy. Like, you try that shit nowadays on a fucking Cartoon Network? But I will say today's cartoons are better well written, like with deeper storylines, LGBTQ, education. Like, I don't know if you heard of the Ripping Friends. That was a fucked up show. I wouldn't be surprised if the creator of Ren and Stimpy made that. Who made this? Did they even have a crossover? Oh my god, it's censorship. Yeah, they had to censor the shit out of this. I didn't know about this. In a segment where Rip is asked by a fan to find out why hot dogs come in packs of 12 and hot dog buns come in packs of 8, Rip beats up a male hot dog and a female bun and asks them to hug. This is giving me Sausage Party vibes. The hot dog begins to slip inside the bun, and the segment immediately fades to black. The scene was restored when the episode ran on Adult Swim. When did it run on Adult Swim? The episodes The Infernal Wedding and Jimmy's Kidnapped never aired on Fox Kids at all, with the former being skipped due to scenes considered to be offensive following the September 11th attack. Both episodes would subsequently air on Adult Swim during reruns. What the fuck? I'm going down multiple rabbit holes now. I'm looking this up. Ripping Friends hot. See, now I'm distracted by the 30-second male fantasy video. Oh no, it's just a clip. Oh god. Watch.
Well, now.
Oh my god. The fuck? This is the preload, what was it, fuck, the pre-something to fucking Sausage Party. Oh my god. And yeah, Ripper has jaundice. Dude, that's the least of this show's problem. God damn. There was one fucked up episode where a piece of chewing gum came to life and started whooping everyone's ass. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Alright, we're 2 minutes in, and I've been live for like 20 minutes viewing this fucking thing. Let's keep going.
For the highest rated premiere on Cartoon Network. And even though it ended years ago, it's still kicking around. It got a Scooby-Doo crossover movie last year, which at first I'm like, what? Why?
What?
But when you think about it, it actually makes sense. I will say it's been neutered a lot, not nearly as terrifying as the original Courage series, but you know,
Yeah.
it's passable for a character that I haven't seen in a while. Anyway, why am I talking about it here on Game Theory? Well, last year, a game designer named Nathan Gabriel went online to claim that he had found an old hard drive at a yard sale containing the only known copy of a Courage game for the PS1, a game that went unfinished and unreleased. Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves the classic creepypasta story. Boy goes to yard sale, boy finds haunted game, scares ensue. Rather than release 24 Let's Plays here on YouTube, Nathan and his partner Chico Games decided to pull together the assets they found and put it all on itch.io for everyone to experience. But before even hopping into the game, I did some research. Even though Courage seemed like the perfect cartoon to turn into a video
Chad move. If I was them, I would have fucking hoarded that. Like, I would have did the Let's Play first. So everyone has to come to my channel to see the Courage game. Then I would release it.
game back when every successful show had its tie-in, Courage only ever got a few browser games. No official standalone title was ever planned. So with my theorist senses tingling, I decided to give it a go on GT Live.
I don't buy that for a second. Yeah. So I was gonna say, if it's on itch.io,
I don't know. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I have a feeling that this is something more than what it seems. And boy, was I right on the money. Constant crashes, haunting imagery, and a soundtrack that screamed, "Put me through a spectrogram." So you know what time it is, theorists. Time to break out
fuck?
Photoshop and our base 64 decoders.
What is a spectrogram? I'm gonna go get me some beef sticks. That Ripping Friends thing made me fucking hungry for beef. Don't read into that, goddammit. I'll be right back. Oh, you want in here? Because I got beef sausage. Come on. Oh my god. You get away. You don't get any. You don't get none of this. You can have one piece. Good girl. Come here. Come here. Come here. There you go. You big old fatty. I gotta stop giving you human food. You're getting overweight. There you are. You're a big old fatty. Yeah. What the hell? Did I just hit the mic again? Alright, on with the show. Oh, whoop. Wrong screen.
We've got ourselves a scary ARG to solve. This game isn't telling us the truth. There's a hidden story inside the code, and we're about to find it. The only thing I wonder is whether we can survive to tell the tale. Firing up the game, we take control of Courage wandering around the bag house, and that's basically it. Not a lot to interact with other than a few question marks that basically do nothing. However, after exploring the second floor, when you go back downstairs, the living room is bathed in red. Uh-oh. Things are getting creepy up in Courage's house. Going back upstairs, you get your first jump scare. Oh, hey, this terrifying face.
How's that a
which,
jump
it's
scare?
worth noting isn't actually just a jump scare. It's from the show. This is the spirit of the harvest moon from the episode The House of Discontent.
Because you don't respect your land, you must leave it.
I ain't going nowhere.
Then you will suffer the consequences.
Told
That's
you
a
this
pretty
show is
creepy
pure
episode.
nightmare fuel. The game is only mildly more upsetting than what they decided to give to kids on TV. The giant floating head tells us to find them, while 3 paws circle the screen. Now, I know it's a Courage game, but this moment's really giving me some solid Blue's Clues flashbacks. So, finally armed with a mission, we go explore the house again, only to suddenly be teleported onto a carpet made of rotting flesh.
What
You
the
know,
fuck?
The usual for the games that we cover here. If it doesn't have a decaying carcass texture, ain't nobody got time for that. At the center of the area are 16 red chairs with an odd-looking pentagram symbol in the middle. If you look close enough, you can see that the line is actually meant to map out a path. Following it and clicking on each chair as you go triggers a sound that, you know, would be great if you knew what it did. After mashing my body against every wall that I could find, because what else do you do when you're stuck in an indie horror game, I found a spot that I could phase through. I realized after the fact that there were also birds chirping to hint that it was there, but of course, I had to do it the hard way. And on the other side of that wall was nothing but another question mark that didn't do anything. At a loss, I did the only thing that I could think of. Okay, got another question mark. What if I jump off?
Weird ass game.
Crash the game. Fantastic.
Turns out it wasn't a bad decision. When you relaunch the game, all the furniture in the living room is gone, and we get treated to a music track that absolutely slaps.
Oh, this doesn't bode well. Oh, this is definitely Morse code.
Obviously, the music bed is a code, Morse code, to be precise, which at the time of filming I couldn't look into, but afterwards I was able to translate to learn the way of the old wind. Old wind isn't a reference to the show as far as I can tell, but it does seem to be important, considering that it's a phrase that gets repeated throughout this ARG.
Is this an actual game, or is this just someone who decided to make it and claim it was a real game? You know what I mean? I don't quite understand.
Look back at the itch.io page for the game. Perfect grammar in all the game's descriptions except for 2 randomly capitalized words in the middle of the sentences. Old and wind.
Mom, it's wind. Well, I've only read it in books.
However, to understand what it means, we have to keep digging. By heading upstairs and then back down, you'll find that the bag's grandfather clock has moved to the center of the room. If you let it chime 12 times, the game crashes. Again. And this time you have to restart from the beginning, which is definitely what happened to me the first time. But if before the 12th chime you head to the kitchen, you get a data missing screen. Now, this is important, because when you first boot up the game, we're told that there are, quote, at least 3 levels connected to completely broken sections. We couldn't find how to access them, but we were able to put data missing screens on them. So we just found the first of these screens, but so what? It's blank. It doesn't tell us anything. Or does it? At this point, you know that when an ARG presents us with a black screen, it's Photoshop time. By messing around with the brightness and contrast levels, we find a hidden message within the black void that says, quote, father wasn't home. Which
What?
admittedly doesn't tell us a whole lot, but there are still at least 2 more clues to find, so hopefully this will paint a clearer picture for us. After getting that screen, we delete the save file and go back to the start. So we do it all again. Click the question marks, talk to the creepy moon face guy, go outside, follow the pentagram path, slam my body against all the walls, find the hidden ledge, and click on the question mark out there. But this time, we don't leap to an untimely and premature end. This time, we go back into the main section of the game.
What?
And we're rewarded for that big brain move with this.
Wait, was this here last time? Oh no! Wait, oh no! Muriel!
Muriel?
It's a funeral memorial for Muriel.
Okay,
Naturally,
this
you
is-
click on it.
Okay, now I know for sure this is not an actual video game. There's no way in hell they would do this.
And it crashes. Eat your heart out, Cyberpunk. But don't worry, in this game, it's a feature and not a bug. This time when you restart the game, you're dropped into a pitch black room. So, as you might imagine, I took my time and thought carefully about my next move.
Okay. Oh, hello.
You know, life is all about failing up. Trying again and looking closer, I was able to identify based on the textures that there was an invisible path.
You'll notice that the texture here is different. Watch, I bet if I walk on this. Yep. There's an invisible path to get to that chair.
But with it being invisible, there was really no way to move forward. Or was there? You see, if you actually pay close attention to the music in this section, you'll hear some deep, creepy tones with a high-pitched ping. It was enough to set off my theory senses yet again.
The grandfather clock scene, as well as that sound, are very reminiscent of like the sounds that you would hear if you put something visually into a spectrograph, or if we were to do it, the audio file in some way
What do you mean?
would give us something back.
And I was right, tossing this audio into a spectrogram gives you something that looks a lot like a map. Gotta give it to the puzzle makers, it's an awesome clue, if it actually worked. I tried really hard to do this level legitimately, but I just couldn't. Without any sort of landmark to tell how far you've gone, it's really difficult to estimate exactly where you need to turn and stop. Luckily, there's actually a far easier solution to this, and that's messing with your computer's rendering settings. Twitch streamer The Beard Dude had the idea to use a program called Reshade, which made the path visible and possible to navigate. It's also worth pointing out that while I was installing Reshade, I noticed a text document among the game's files that read, "She followed the rules, he broke the rules, the OW was all the way to the right," with the words being censored there. Thanks to the Morse code from earlier, though, I think we have a pretty good idea of what that's trying to say. The OW is obviously the old wind, but what is it saying about being all the way to the right? Well, going back to our invisible maze, we actually get a choice in our path, going left or right. So, to learn the ways of the old wind, I started by heading right. At the end of the path, you're teleported to a dark corridor with a house. Behind the house, you find a second memorial picture.
What?
This time featuring a man named Robert W. Half burnt and without any of the decorations that we saw around Muriel.
So I'm
Clicking
guessing
on
that's
it will,
Eustace.
surprise, surprise, crash the game. This time when we reload, we're back in the bag's house, only now it's dark and eerily quiet. However, things take a turn when you go upstairs. Suddenly the game locks you into place and we're forced to confront confront Robert W., his realistic face stapled onto a wisp-like body that slowly floats towards us with a digital whale.
That's
Thanks! I hate it, but what
fucking terrifying. What?
I don't hate is that it gives us our second data missing screen. Adjusting the brightness and contrast of the screen reveals the phrase, "Mr. Wheeler was there to greet me." So our storyteller's father wasn't home. Instead, he was met by a Mr. Wheeler. Considering that this floating entity is Robert W., it's not much of a leap to assume that the W stands for Wheeler. But to absolutely confirm, I went to match the fonts. Times New Roman wasn't too hard. And sure enough, it turns out that Wheeler is a perfect fit for the rest of that burned image. It's also worth noting that the asset name for the horrifying creature is Real Wheeler. Seems pretty confirmed. Robert is Mr. Wheeler, but what are we trying to say about him? Well, there's still at least one more data missing page to find, and hopefully that'll start giving us some answers. Last time we went right, so this time at the Spotlight Maze, we're actually going to go to the left, away from the old wind. After a long walk, we make our way to a single chair. Clicking on the chair does what you'd expect at this point. Crashes the game.
Yep.
We end up back in the bag house. This time, though, it's full of coins.
Yep.
Notice that the pattern on the coins actually matches the earlier chair puzzle. As you collect the coins, a player 2 slides onto the screen, which would be weird enough considering it's a single-player game, but
Player
things get
2?
real uncomfortable when you realize it's Muriel.
Oh.
You know, that dead woman whose memorial we paid respects to earlier? Yeah, no biggie. Collecting all the coins causes Muriel's face to go dark. The music stops, and we get our final data missing screen. Contrast down, exposure up. It reads, "It was her, Eleanor. Father wasn't home. Mr. Wheeler was there to greet me. It was her, Eleanor." Okay, so we found all our data missing screens.
Wait, no, that can't be all. That can't be all. You got the top, you got the right, you got the left, you got the bottom. You got this whole big ass. The fuck was that? You got this whole big ass empty space right here.
But what's it all mean? Well, based on the evidence we've collected so far, I think I've got a decent idea of what this story's about. Our story has 5 people: Eleanor, Mr. Wheeler, Father, Muriel, and us, the storyteller, who is clearly the son of Father. We know that we call out the fact that Father wasn't home, which to me suggests that Father probably should have been home. His absence was unexpected, leaving us to ask the question of why. Why wasn't he there? Mr. Wheeler was there to greet me implies that Mr. Wheeler wasn't part of or close enough to the family to be on a first-name basis with our storyteller, like maybe a neighbor or co-worker or some other trusted adult. The phrase, "It was her, Eleanor," implies that Eleanor was closer to the family than Mr. Wheeler.
Who is Eleanor? Who is Wheeler? What does this have to do with Courage the Cowardly Dog? What does this have to do with anything? What? Stream's still working, I'm checking. Yeah, it's still up. Good. I still don't get what this has to do with Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That's why she's referred to on a first-name basis. She's also not the mother of our story.
That's not even how you spell Eleanor. Or is it? Okay, yeah, that's right. It's spelled with an E and an A.
Teller, as most children would call their mother just mom, just like Father was called Father. All of this would suggest that Eleanor was maybe a neighbor or a stepmother or a sister, but that's not all we're working with here. Each time we rebooted the game to start down a different path, we were forced to delete the save file. This,
why?
To me, felt like it could hide a clue, like we were intentionally being led to those specific files. Why else would you force players to do that without giving us some sort of a payoff? And sure enough, when opening up the save files in Notepad, we find plain text phrases like, "I don't" or "was good." I tried to collect as many of these as possible, but to confirm that I hadn't missed anything, we extracted the plain text that the game looks for within the files to get this. Do you remember a time when the world was good and fair? I don't.
What?
Manually changing the phrases inside the save files would allow us to load different parts of the game, so I went back and did it with each of the phrase chunks. Only the phrase "do you" loaded a part of the game that we hadn't previously found. A gray version of the bag's home with nothing to do except endlessly interact with your computer. I feel seen, creepy ARG game. I feel seen. Anyway, the game's assets have a few more clues hiding in plain sight.
This is nuts!
Old Wind, which it turns out is the symbol that we saw under the chairs and on the coins. So the Old Wind is the symbol. Interesting. There's also a file named Eleanor, which is worth calling out because
it's misspelled again. At this point, I'm wondering if that's intentional and it actually plays a role in the fucked up puzzle game that we are currently in the middle of learning about. And I'm messing with my mic arm because I feel like it's getting ready to fall. So if you hear a loud crash and me swearing, it means my mic arm, which is, it's leaning off the table right now. And I get the feeling it's gonna fall. Yeah. I guess that's what I get for using a cheap Walmart table.
Eleanor is the image that we see at the memorial, but one that was attributed to Muriel. Makes it seem like maybe the two are actually one and the same, bringing our character count down to 4. Father, Mr. Wheeler, us, and Eleanor/Muriel. So taking all of our evidence into account, we might be able to explain why Father wasn't home.
Why would you assume that?
Considering we see her memorial in the game, it implies that Dad had to leave to see her in her final moments before she dies. Do you remember a time when the world was good and fair? I don't. Certainly sounds like the sort of question someone would ask in the wake of a tragic...
No? Maybe? That's quite the leap in logic to just assume it has something to do with that.
Unexpected death. But it still feels like something's missing, right? Like, why are traces of all of this left in the game, and what does any of this have to do with the seemingly important phrase, old wind, that keeps...
What does this have to do with
Remember that
courage?
text file from earlier? She followed the rules, he broke the rules, the old wind was all the way to the right. Wind in the Courage the Cowardly Dog show tends to be linked with the passage of time or death in some way. The episode Little Muriel, for instance, involves a tornado that sucks up Muriel and turns her back into a child, and Courage has to find a tornado that spins the other way to age her back.
I remember that. That's fucked up. If I was her age and I got turned into a child, okay, that's one thing. I wouldn't like that. But he found the tornado to re-age me and he makes me older again. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm like, you little bastard, why didn't you leave me as like a 27-year-old? It's like that Futurama episode with the Fountain of Youth or the Fountain of Aging. He's like, huzzah! I'm even a few years older.
Back up.
I'm Muriel. I'm only 3.5 years old. Who are you?
Another episode titled Windmill Vandals has a windmill that stops things rising from the dead. The old wind, I suspect, operates similar to these. It's a wind that makes you grow either younger or older. Eleanor followed the rules. Well, by dying, she followed the rules of nature. But upon seeing this, Robert Wheeler begins to realize his own mortality and looks for ways to become immortal, breaking the rules of nature and refusing to die by being involved in some sort of ritual or cult. I mean, look at that symbol and tell me there isn't something cultish about that.
Yeah, look at the
Lack of
20-something
memorial when we
chairs.
find Robert's burned picture seems to suggest that he isn't dead. This is actually backed up by the game's itch.io page. On the day the page was created, there was also a user profile created, R. Wheeler 1998. And for now,
Something tells me you may already know. What? What?
a user profile created, R. Wheeler 1998.
Is that you, Robert? Do you know who
And
Eleanor
now
is? Hey, someone finally spelled Eleanor right. I don't know why that bothers me so much, but you fuck.
As much as I can piece together about the Courage game. A PS1 era game riffing on mascot-themed platformers back in the day that hides a family tragedy under the surface. Maybe having to do with a death or cult rituals attempting to be immortal. And you see, this is why Courage was such a clever choice for the game. The occult, demons, Courage has faced them all. Much like the windmills in the show, which stop the dead from rising, the old wind will ultimately be our key to stopping the immortal monster that tries to cheat death. And there does seem like...
But why is he a monster? What has he done wrong besides gain immortality? I don't understand why you would want to stop him from, being immortal. I mean, whatever.
More added to this story, as Nathan, the guy who quote-unquote found the game, tweeted that he's been able to locate another mysterious hard drive with more Courage content on it. In the meantime, is this a perfect solution? No, obviously not. There are plenty of holes here in this story. But as a wise show once said,
There's no such thing as perfect. Huh? You're beautiful as you are.
Aww.
With all your imperfections, you can do anything.
but hey,
I vaguely remember that episode.
You can do anything, and that includes avoiding male pattern baldness with our sponsor for today's episode, Keeps.
Oh,
Did you know
God.
that male pattern baldness affects 2 out of 3 guys before the age of 35? Eustace certainly does.
You, sir, are extremely bald.
In fact, the whole Bag family is pretty sensitive about their lack of hair follicles. Too bad they didn't have Keeps back in 1996, or they could have avoided all that. You see, Keeps is dedicated to helping combat the symptoms of hair loss. Most
How?
customers notice results within the first 6 months. And it's not like they're using some kind of old wind pseudoscience. Their formula is clinically proven, research-backed, and recommended by doctors. In fact, one of the members of Team Theorist actually started using Keeps at the first signs of his hair loss, and he was able to successfully stop the retreat and thinning of his hairline. But best of all, Keeps makes the whole process quick and easy, sending products that are half the price of the standard pharmacy directly to your door.
This makes me think it's a scam. I mean, I'm sure the product works, but it reminds me of those, that fucking, what was that popular teenage medication that they would advertise all the time? Proactive or something for zits. Like, I subscribed to that once just to get, like, buy one, but in small print it says it signs you up for like a monthly membership for like 3 times the cost, like $100 a month. Like, what the fuck?
Regardless of whether you live in Los Angeles, California, or nowhere, Kansas. So if you're looking to prevent hair loss, stimulate hair growth, or just take better care of the hair that you have on your head, go on over to keeps.com/gametheorists. That's KEEPS.
I hope I'm wrong, because that's really scummy practice.
GAMETHEORISTS. Ignore that, just click the link in the description to get 50% off your first order. You don't want to
First
wind
order.
up like old Robert Wheeler over there.
There you
No,
go,
I'm
it's a
not sure
subscription.
full head of hair would have made him any less creepy. Nope, still creepy. Just head on down to the description. That's keeps.com/gametheorists to get 50% off that first order. And as always, friends, remember, it's
Oh, the
all
video's
just a
over?
theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
I want to know more. You just started a rabbit hole.